Hey everybody, Charles Cook here, founding partner at Cook Baxter. Today we're going to take a little stroll through Trump's immigration policies, what he's doing, how to protect yourself, how to prepare, and make sure you're ready for your next encounter with Trump and the folks at ICE. We're going to share a little PowerPoint here. We're going to talk about the different things that are happening. Let's first just mention a few of the things that are going on. The first thing I want to mention, because this is breaking news again, is that Trump lost again in court about an hour ago on his ridiculous birthright citizenship executive order, which has no basis in reality or the Constitution of the United States. Period. End of story. But the government briefs are laughably bad, something you would not expect from the Department of Justice. These briefs ignore Supreme Court precedent that are directly on point, and it seems like their heart just isn't in it, which is a good thing because they're losing badly. So don't worry. If your child is born in the United States, they are a U.S. citizen. But I will, as I can tell everybody, get your kids' passports. Get your kids' passports, always a good idea. Next thing I want to talk about, just briefly, is Trump and detention. As everybody knows, that's all they can talk about. And Trump's press secretary, all the press, look at all the people we're arresting. Oh my God, we're arresting everybody. Everybody's under arrest. Yeah, also not the case. And in fact, they made a big deal about arresting some Tren de Agua gang member in Colorado last Thursday, and they released him today because he's not a Tren de Agua member. And in fact, they released over 800 people that they have detained since they started detentions 2 weeks ago. They've detained about 10,000 people. But here's the thing. I know that sounds like a lot. Oh my God, they're detaining 10,000 people. This is crazy. It's less than Biden. It's less than Biden did on a daily basis. Yeah, they're not as good as Biden. It's going to kill them. But, you know, the reality is that to detain people, you have to have beds. This is why Trump did that ludicrous, let's open Guantanamo Bay, and flew like 60 Guatemalans there yesterday. My guess is that will, within the next 30 days, be declared illegal for them to do that. And if it is legal, there's going to be some really big avenues open for flying lawyers over to help these people. Quite illegal for them to do. So they're detaining people, and there's no doubt they're doing that, but they're full. The beds are full. They're at 107% of capacity. The beds are full, so they have to release people. That's what's happening. And we're only 10 days in, and the immigration court system is, it's a slog to get people through, because people are entitled to their constitutional rights. I'm going to talk all about those rights in a bit. So there's that. Now, the next thing that I'm mentioning here is registration of immigrants. There's a federal law that was created in 1940 called the Alien Registration Act that said that anybody who is an alien or not a citizen of the United States needed to register with the government and needed to register annually. They stopped doing that around 1975 or something like that. I remember as a kid, they would have announcements in movie theaters. Don't forget the annual registration of foreign nationals. They stopped doing it. But it was recreated right after 9/11 with a program called NSEERS, in which they required essentially Muslims, people from these 35 Muslim countries who were undocumented, to report to immigration. And if they didn't report, they would lose their right to future immigration to the United States. So people reported, and a lot of folks were put in deportation proceedings, but a lot of people got green cards as a result. Never resulted in any effective action for terrorism, but it's what they did. And they ended that program about 10, 12, 14 years ago under Obama. So they may, but Trump issued an order saying he's going to recreate registration for immigrants, but we've heard nothing more. So that's kind of out there hanging like Damocles' sword over everybody's head, and what that involves and how it's going to be done. It's a massive money machine. It's going to require a lot of effort that they don't have, people they don't have, bodies they don't have, processes they don't have. I honestly, I think they're going to try to do it, but it's not today. The last thing I wanted to just briefly mention is Trump and expedited removal. This is going on. In 1996, Congress created this concept of expedited removal that allows CBP officers and ICE officers to deport anybody who's been in the U.S. less than 2 years, unless they make a claim to asylum. They make a claim, I want asylum, they can't be deported. They have to go through the asylum process. So ICE has just been given that authority inside the border of the United States. It's only been active for the last 28 years at the border. Now it's inside. So anybody who's been here less than 2 years, including a lot of these parolees, are eligible to be deported without a hearing, unless they claim asylum. So it's really, really important. If you are one of these parolees, and typically the parolees are from countries in which asylum is possible, except really Ukraine, you should apply for asylum, because that's how you're going to protect yourself from deportation. This is going on right now. Now, again, ICE is limited. Every ICE office is required to detain 75 people a day. That's their number on average. And they're looking for low hanging fruit, right? They're not going to kill themselves to do this. So people with removal orders who have been reporting to them, they're detaining. People who have a criminal arrest, they're detaining, just like Biden did. They're detaining. And people that have been less than 2 years. We've seen it in a church here in Atlanta that they arrested somebody outside the church because he had an ankle monitor on. They knew where he was. So it was easy pickings for them. But there's been no mass raids. There's no roundups in apartment complexes. And if you're not within the 100-mile Constitution-free zone around our borders, there's no Border Patrol, ICE immigration checks. And if a police officer asks you your immigration status, you have a legal right to not answer the question. And you should not answer the question. All right. Let's get into today's and I'll answer, of course, questions that you folks have at the end. But let's take a look at a little PowerPoint that I've got here. I want you guys to go through this, so we can find the tab here. Here we go. We're going to share my wonderful PowerPoint here. Navigating Trump's immigration policies. Let's talk about Trump's immigration policies here, these are going to be this is kind of fun. This is a really unique opportunity for us to kind of see what's going on. So let's I don't have the right screen shared, I don't think. Let me go back and share this screen correctly. I want to make sure I've got the right screen shared. So let's see. Oh, good. There we go. We're gonna go back up, and we're gonna share this screen. This is the screen. So that a lot of people had asked me about executive orders. Trump here, he issued these executive orders. Well, what are executive orders? They're not laws. So that they're not laws. They bind the agencies to enforce the policies of the president, but only in the context of them being legal. So the executive order on birthright citizenship, struck down. Completely illegal, unconstitutional. You're going to see more and more of these get challenged and struck down in courts because they're garbage. They're like the nativists, know-nothing, wet dream syndrome. They have no basis in reality, many of these whatsoever. But the nativists want them. We aren't a majority of Americans, but they are a big part of Trump's base. So he's going to placate them, and they are run by Stephen Miller in the White House. He's deputy chief of staff. He's got Trump's ear every single day. So Trump is a malleable guy. They know how to flatter them. They know how to push them in the right directions. So he issues these crazy executive orders. He's got the birthright citizenship, activation of the military on the border, expanding ICE powers. This is what I just talked about, expedited removal, canceling court cases if they're less than 2 years in the United States, terminate parole. I mean, those things are probably legal that he can do that. All right. Military force. Remember, the military is not enforcing immigration law. The military is supporting ICE, but the military can't arrest anybody. But having a military on your border probably dissuades some people from coming in. Trump ordered people to be mandatorily detained. Anybody arrested for any reason, detained. Okay. Deport people like Cubans, Haitians, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans. Okay. Can he do that? Well, he probably can do a little bit of that. And then he also issued executive orders on limiting extensions of work permits, ending family reunification, little unclear what he means by the work permits at this point. So let's see. First of all, he canceled parole for Cubans, Haitians, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans. He's got authority to do that. No doubt about it. And so looks like they're officially canceled for extensions. But what we don't know yet is the parole he's going to let it each expire. My guess is the paroles will just expire. And so my suggestion is for anyone in this situation is that you get your asylum application filed if you haven't done so already. And that if you've been in the country longer than 2 years, you definitely need to file that. If you've been in less than 2 years, you need to carry paperwork around that you filed that. And of course, if you've been here longer than 2 years, carry paperwork that shows you've been here for 2 years. Okay? Need to be doing that. DACA, I get questions every week on this. Excuse me, I've been talking a lot today. What's Trump going to do on DACA? Well, DACA, Trump, quote, ended DACA in 2017, but he didn't do that for 9 months after he was president. And he only did it because Stephen Miller made him do it. I'm not sure he really has any opposition to DACA, really. I think the idea, his argument is to be the president doesn't have that authority. Well, that limits his authority. He doesn't like things that limit his authority. So Fifth Circuit just ruled DACA illegal. It's going to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will probably take this case, and thus there'll be oral argument in 2026. A decision, maybe in early 2027. All right. I don't think DACA is going anywhere, and they're still issuing advanced paroles. You can still travel on advanced parole. You can still come in on advanced parole. Now, if you've got a removal order, during Biden, I said you can travel. You can travel under Biden removal order. You're going to be fine. I think you're still okay. And we haven't seen anybody in the removal order refused reentry to the United States under DACA since Trump's been president. Just understand, these things are in flux, and CBP, the La Migra, they're pretending they're really strong and they can do whatever they want. The reality is, if I have a client who's denied reentry on parole and they have a valid parole, I will go to court. You come to see me, I will go to court and I will get you back in the country. I will. Because they think they have authority to refuse your reentry. Unless something's changed after you left, I don't think they have the authority to do that. And again, I am recommending everybody, if your DACA expires within 12 months, you should be filing renewal. Just as a precaution, just to gain that extra year. Because you know what? It's Trump, and we never know. TPS. Trump just canceled Venezuelan TPS. Now, there's going to be a lawsuit. I'm in touch with some folks that are going to be preparing and filing a lawsuit. Same ones that sued last time he canceled TPS. And a court stopped the cancellation. And this is because in order to cancel TPS, you have to show that there are changed country conditions. Well, what has changed in Venezuela? Nothing's changed. And the findings they made are laughable. So I think there's still a chance that Venezuela and TPS will come back. But look for Trump to cancel almost every TPS, except I don't think he's going to cancel El Salvador, who had TPS for 24 years. Why? Well, Bukele just offered to have Americans serve jail time there. By the way, that's illegal. I mean, we don't allow banishment. That's illegal. It's unconstitutional. I'm writing a paper on that right now. It's don't worry about that. All right, TPS and Trump. He's obviously not going to name TPS for anybody. What I love is all the Venezuelans in Florida like, oh my God, Trump lied to us. Of course he lied to you. He lies like he breathes. And you voted for him. You're the reason he's in office. Really? You should have listened. All right, next. Who's ICE going to arrest? Who's in their target zone? Who are they going to arrest? Keep in mind, limited numbers. They don't have that many agents in the United States. I don't know exactly how many agents they are. I'm going to Google that right now and say ICE agents number in U.S. There are, I don't want a phone number, total number of ICE agents in the United States. Looks like ICE has 20,000 employees. Have that. So they probably have about 10,000 actual agents that go out and arrest people in the whole United States. And what do they have? A couple hundred here in Georgia? That it covers Alabama? arresting 75. Everybody they arrest in twos and threes and fours and five sums. So maybe they arrest 75 people a day in Georgia. There's 14 million people live in the state. I mean, and these numbers are not, these are the same numbers that Biden was doing. Trump is below Biden's numbers. He's below them. They have limited resources. One, they're going to focus on recent arrivals because they're easy. They don't require a court hearing. They don't require an NTA. Anybody who's been here for longer than 2 years has got to go to court. And it takes them a couple hours to do that paperwork. Easier to do expedited removal. They're going to target people with prior removal orders. There are 1.5 million people with removal orders. They're going to target those people. All right, that's easy pickings. They're going to target people arrested by the police. So don't get arrested. Don't drive without a license. Don't drink and drive. Make sure the lights work on your car. That's what you do. And of course, they're going to arrest people that are around people they're arresting. I'm going to get into your legal rights here, but basically, if ICE asks you your name, you have to give it. But if they ask for papers or your immigration status, you say, I have a right to remain silent and I'm exercising it. Thank you. I want a lawyer. Any more questions? Talk to my lawyer. They're not going to be able to arrest you unless they can identify you as a foreign national. Now, I know they've arrested some U.S. citizens. They're getting in trouble for that. I'm going to get sued for that. But those are the exceptions, not the actual rules for them. So they know better than to arrest United States citizens. So if you are arrested by ICE and you have been here longer than 2 years, you are entitled to a bond. So long as you're not arrested for a Lake and Right violation, shoplifting, assault, serious injury or potential serious injury for the crime you commit. If you're just a random dude who's undocumented, you're entitled to bond. So we expect those bonds to be between $12,000 and $15,000 that ICE will put on people. I'll probably get lesser amounts from the courts. So you're going to need your birth certificate. And your birth certificates of your spouse, your kids, anybody, your parents, if they're citizens or residents. You need your tax transcripts. These are your tax forms that you filed with the IRS if you paid taxes here. You need letters of support from families, friends, employers, church, school about your good moral character. You need some proof if your family's going to self you if you're detained. And you need proof that you've been here for at least 2 years or longer. Rent receipts, taxes, bank account statements, bills, things like that with your name on it. You want to keep those in a box at home. So if you get detained, you can tell your spouse, hey, call Cook and help us get out of custody, or call the lawyer and help us get out of custody. All right. So you can request a bond if you've been here longer than 2 years, as long as you're not a Lake and Riley subject to mandatory detention or a criminal conviction. Criminal convictions also do not get bond. Prior removal orders are reinstated. They don't get bond either. All right. All right. If you are preparing yourself, I said, again, documents for 2 years, documents related to your immigration case, create an emergency contact list. All right. Who should be contacted if you're detained? Need to get a power of attorney for minors. Power of attorney, that's, let's say you got minor kids. Here is a link. You can go to that link, and it is a link for the power of attorney that you can fill out and get signed to take care of your children. And here's a link to get just a general power of attorney. Now, again, don't give this general power of attorney to anybody. Keep it in a secure place because they'll be able to sell all your stuff. But you definitely want something in place to make sure that you're eligible for these things, that somebody can protect you if you're detained. You also want to avoid contact with immigration, okay? Don't travel outside the United States. Do not travel within the 100-mile Constitution-free zone that surrounds the United States. That means don't go to Florida. Don't go to New York. Don't go to California. Definitely don't go to Texas. Don't go to Chicago. All those places are within the 100-mile Constitution-free zone of the United States. If you are detained, or there's police are speaking, police or ICE. Let's say you have a license from Illinois and you're driving in Georgia, police stop you. You give them your license. If he asks you, do you know why I stopped you? You say, I don't. And he'll say, well, you were speeding. And you'll say, nothing. You have a right to literally say nothing. And he says, why aren't you saying anything? You say, I'm exercising my right to remain silent. And I won't answer any more questions without a lawyer. Period. If he asks you, where are you from? I'm exercising my right to remain silent. He asks you, are you legal? I'm exercising my right to remain silent. That's what you say. Now, is he going to detain you? Unlikely, unless there's a warrant for your arrest. probably not going to be safe. Now, if you don't have a license, don't drive, because the police will arrest you. If they arrest you, driver's license, they arrest you, say, here's my name. I'm exercising my right to remain silent. I don't have any documents. I want to speak to a lawyer. Do they have the right to search your car? Say, you have no, I refuse your right to search my vehicle. Okay, you have no obligation to provide documents. Just never lie. This is true for everybody, by the way. These are your rights. And more often than not, people get in trouble because they talk too much. Ever watch Law and Order on TV? People get in trouble because they refuse to remain silent. Police are good at getting people to not remain silent. That's their job. That's what they're good at. Just be calm, firm, and then if you do get arrested, just call your spouse and say, call a lawyer. And don't sign anything from ICE or anybody else. Just, I'm not signing anything. Thank you very much. All right. Now, protect yourself in your car. If you're approached by ICE agents in your car, remain calm. Turn your video camera on. Turn your phone video on and record the interaction. Okay? If they tell you to turn it off, you say, no, I have a legal right to record. If they try to detain you, ask them if they have a warrant for your arrest. If they ask about your immigration status, you say, I refuse to answer that question. Again, your name. You have a legal obligation to provide your name. You have no other legal obligation. If you've got a U.S. ID, present it. If you don't have a U.S. ID, don't present it. Don't even have it on you, because that just proves you're not from the United States. Okay, key takeaways. Gather your important documents like birth certificates, tax forms, proof of legal presence, ties to the United States. Create an emergency plan. Know your rights. Avoid unnecessary interactions and seek legal counsel. Get a lawyer. You get wealthy Americans all have a lawyer in advance. They're not stupid. Or get a lawyer. Get somebody's phone number that you can call. What's going on now is a lot of flurry, a lot of bluffing, a lot of press. But at the end of the day, what's really happening is the same thing that happened under Biden, same thing that happened under Trump 1. Or actually less of it, and the same thing happened to Obama. Nothing has changed, just a lot more talk. Take a deep breath, relax, and move forward knowing what your rights are. And then you'll end up where you're going to end up. But if you exercise your rights, you're going to be in a much better position than if you don't. All right. Let's answer some questions today here on the this podcast. Again, I'm your host, Charles Cook. I'm a founding partner here at Cook Baxter. And if you ever need to reach us for any reason, by the way, best way to reach us is to call. We have a phone, 404-816-8611, and we answer. We have people here in the office who answer, as well as remotely that answer. You can email me. I take emails just from people. I answer questions. I don't give legal advice, but if there's a simple question, I'll always answer it through that. Happy to do so. You can also visit our website, which has tons of information, including this PowerPoint on it, that lets you get information about your immigration status and information about how you can fix your status. So we're here to answer lots of questions. We're here to help you. And by the way, if you make an appointment, do a Zoom appointment. They're so much easier. They're the exact same thing as sitting in front of me, except you don't get to smell me. And I smell good. I get it. People want to smell me, but better just to talk to me by Zoom. It's easier, especially in Metro Atlanta, because, oh my God, traffic's terrible here. It's terrible here. This gets you to talk to me, and much quicker for you and much quicker for me. All right. Let's take a look at some of these great questions we have here. Roberto, quisiera hacer una consulta. Okay, Roberto, llame al número. Y eres peruano, qué chévere. Hazle la consulta 404-816-8611. George, great question, which I answered. I actually don't think he's going to end it, because the problem George is trying to end it, he has to go through a very specific set of regulations and processes to do that. And it takes months and months and months and months. And he's got other things to worry about. Abogado, tener un permiso de trabajo por mi hija, seguro social me protege o no? Sí, te protege. Okay. She's asking if she's got a work permit based on her daughter's application. Is she protected? Yeah. ICE is not going to arrest you. ICE no te va a detener si tiene permiso de trabajo y su caso de residencia es pendiente. Lleva su permiso de trabajo. Now, keep in mind, you're required, if you have status, you're required to keep your green card with you. If you have a visa, you're required to keep that visa and that identity card with you. If you have a work card, you're required to carry it with you. If you don't have it, there's no requirement whatsoever. So please carry those documents. And if you're paranoid you're going to lose them, make a color copy of both sides and carry it with you. Okay. Sandra, if you were pulled over by ICE, are you required to show ID? No. You're required to give you, if they say, do you have ID? You can say, oh, no, I have no ID. I'm not required to show. Now, if you have ID, you can show. If you're in status, yeah, show them your work card, whatever. They're not going to arrest you. They're really not. But you're better off saying, I refuse to answer any questions. Where are you from? I refuse to answer that question. I'm exercising my right to remain silent. You don't have to produce ID if you don't have it. I have no ID. Thank you very much. Hello, Lawyer Cook. Question. I'm a U.S.-born citizen, married to a husband with a permanent bar. He was deported illegally. Can he be granted citizenship with a visa U? Yes. Actually, he can. The visa U, which is victim of crime, forgives virtually everything, including it's one of only two ways to forgive the permanent bar. Grace, good to see you. Damien, DUI on January 23, no accident, no injuries, nothing in February 24. Drop, dismissed, marriage, green card will be. No, you will be not. If you entered legally, Damien, and you're married to a citizen, you'll get your green card. A dismissed DUI charge is nothing, which goes to show you that just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're guilty of anything. Taylor, good to see you. Do we imagine consular would be affected? Not just, well, here's what I anticipate on consular green card processing for family cases. They will slow down. I have no doubt that they will slow down. And we will not use all family-based cases this year. I'm convinced of it because that's what he did the 4 years he was president. We're already seeing consular offices going more slowly, denying more cases, and issuing fewer visas. We're seeing this all over the world. I've got reports on the listservs I'm on all over the world. This is what he did last time. So yes, I do think we're going to see that. Also, they've alleged they're going to bring back their affidavit of support rule on income. Now, that's not going to be immediately. They have to go through a very long process to make that happen and justify why to change the last one. And that'll be stopped in the courts. But yeah, they're going to look and place higher burdens on people as much as they can within the context of the law. Pammy K, if wife left on to return to the U.S., does she have a 10-year bar? Well, yeah. If she had 1 year illegally in the country before she left voluntarily, and she came back before the 10 years, yes, she has a 10-year bar. Si estamos esperando perdón, ¿qué documento debemos tener con nosotros por si ICE nos pare? Honestamente, no debe tener nada contigo. Porque cualquier evidencia que tienes consigo es evidencia que está indocumentado en el país. She asked, we're waiting for our waiver. What documentation should we carry with us? I don't think they should carry anything, honestly. Because you carry a Peruvian passport that says you're Peruvian, you're not a citizen, they'll detain you. If you don't carry anything, and you don't tell them your name and you don't tell them your immigration status, they're not going to know you from Adam. They can't arrest you for that. And now within the 100-mile Constitution-free zone, different story. Metro Atlanta, no. All right, Ali Samani. I came to the U.S. In 2010, overstayed. My father filed H-2B. My party is January 28th. Called by ICE. Shall remain. Well, I would remain silent, Ali, because you're deportable. The receipt's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It doesn't protect you at all. So I would not show anything. I would not carry anything, and I would not say anything at all. The KK show. How does Lake affect somebody arrested for no driver? It doesn't affect at all. Lake and Raleigh does not apply to driver's licenses. It applies to shoplifting, theft offenses, assault offenses, and offenses in which bodily harm or injuring a police officer are involved. So you're good there. Janet, hola, abogado. Tardes, gracias por eso. No, ¿de qué? Peque, disculpe, yo estoy por graduarme de maestría. Tengo DACA y aquí cuando tenía 22 años hice Advance Pro 3 veces para poder aplicar. Well, Peque wants to know if she can apply for an H-1B visa. She has DACA, but she didn't get DACA when she was 22. The problem is she can't get a visa without a 212D3 waiver. Now, the Biden administration created this policy on making 212D3 waivers faster for DACA recipients. I would not consular process. Yo no lo haría. No lo haría. Puedes aplicar por esto, pero tendrías que obtener un perdón de 202.13 y no va a ser rápido como era Biden. Yo no lo haría. Manuel, hola abogado. Adlis Ferro dirige una fundación por inmigrantes. ¿Lo conoce? Does Adlis Ferro directs an immigrant foundation? Nunca no la conozco y nunca he escuchado de esto. Be careful. Ten cuidado con fundaciones pro inmigrantes. ¿Okay? ¿Para qué razón? Hay muchos sin lucro que hay no inmigrantes. ¿Qué fundación se necesita? Eso es lo que no entiendo. Ali Samnani, is it necessary to provide name and birthday for my document person before ICE? No. Keep silent. Your name. You only have to give your name. You don't have to give a birthday or anything else. Your name. If you don't have ID, so I don't have ID. Why don't you have ID? I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm exercising my right to remain silent. Not much they can do. You know, you say, I want to talk to a lawyer. You ask him more questions, I want a lawyer. And then you say, am I free to go? Am I free to go? Are you detaining me? Not detaining me? Then I'm leaving. And you leave slowly and carefully. Thanks, Joanna. I appreciate it. It's on our website. You can Google it on immigration.net. Omarcito, I'm doing good, my friend. Hori, asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. U.S. citizen sponsors an overstay visa holder parents. Parents working on false. No, there's no waiver needed for working on a fake Social Security card. It's not needed. Thank you. Oh, no, you're welcome, Hori. What's your view on El Salvador for convicted non-citizens? I think it's completely illegal. I do not think that you can. I really do not believe that constitutionally. I think it violates the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment, to send somebody to a Salvadoran hellhole prison to detain somebody with no basic human rights. So no, I think it's wildly unconstitutional and is never. Trump may try it, but I think it'll be immediately enjoined by the courts. Still safe to travel to Hawaii. Here's the deal, Alex. Hawaii is an island, and ICE agents do roam the airport in Hawaii, just like they go to Puerto Rico. One of my colleagues just said their client was taking a trip to Puerto Rico, and they were undocumented, and they got arrested at the airport. So you have DACA. I think you're fine to go to Hawaii, absolutely. But if you're undocumented, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Paula Sandoval, still safe for advanced parole? Yes. Still safe for advanced parole. Still have clients. I have a client that came back yesterday that left a couple days ago for an emergency with family. Perfectly fine. Can you live in not traveling to New York? Okay. Money. New York is by the border. Chicago is by the border. Florida is by the border. The border is the water. The water is a border. Anywhere there's water is a border inside the United States. Can you shed light on the rumor that getting arrested speeds up? No, actually, if you have a 45 pending at USCIS and ICE arrests you, that strips immigration of your jurisdiction, and they will not adjudicate your 45. Now, it could still be adjudicated by the courts, but the courts are 4 to 7 years behind. So if some human being started that rumor, that would make them stupid. Just saying. Carmina. No mucha gente sabe que viene la orden judicial. Ojalá tanta información, porque a veces muestran cualquier. Oh, yeah. So one thing to remember, if ICE is at your house and they say we have a warrant, don't open the door. Tell them to put it under the door or put it through the window. And it has to be federal district court document signed by a judge, not an administrative warrant. Big difference. And you do not open the door for ICE ever unless they have a judicial warrant, and they almost never have a judicial warrant. Can you update the new EIR memorandum reinstating Trump policy? Are you talking about, Jorge, that ICE can now go in courtrooms? Well, that was an Obama policy and a Bush policy and a Clinton policy and Biden and a Trump policy. Yeah, if that's what there's a lot of memorandums that came out of CRCO, and maybe that's the one you're talking about. Maybe it's not. Let me know. Any changes in NBC green card interview in San Juarez? Where's San Juarez? Ciudad Juarez. Okay. No, there's no changes I know of no changes. If your appointments, go to your appointment. You'll be fine. Have a great time. Don't drink the water. Okay. Best spot. Well, thank you, Vanessa. I love Vanessa. She's awesome. She's right down the hallway here. She's totally awesome. Expedited removal for 5 years in Frontier. Can ICE try to find me if I live here? Well, if they find you, they will just deport you because you have a permanent bar. You came in after you had a permanent Frontier removal. So, unfortunately, Juan, you have a permanent bar. If they find you, they will deport you without a hearing. What's the email? Oh, what's my email? That's a great question. Once again, here's the magic email. So let's see, go over here. Go just ccook at immigration.net. Chuck at also immigration.net also works, but I like ccook better. Let's take a look at here some other questions here. Here we go. So Camila, can you explain the changes? There's no change right now, Camila. There's no change in H-1B level 1 wages. I will just tell you it's very hard to get level 1 wages on H-1Bs. Mi hijo se va a alarme. ¿Cuántos días tengo que esperar para aplicar? Douglas, al momento que firme el contrato puede ser pro place. So Douglas's son is serving in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service, son. And he could sponsor his dad for military pro in place the moment he signs the contract. And can start the process. Do you think they are arresting and putting a person just to show their path to a green because they can't do it? I don't think so. I don't think they're that organized. I really don't. They definitely trying to scare people not to come, and it's going to destroy Florida and the tourism industry. It's really, none of this makes any sense. None of this helps America. None of it. Get this. People don't even understand this. Let's say you are your dad. You've been here since '98. You got a son that was born here who turns 21 next year. You came illegally, your son can't sponsor you, okay, unless you've got yourself a spouse or a parent to file for a waiver. If Trump deports you, you're coming back in 10 years. You're coming back in 10 years. Almost everybody they're deporting who are long-term residents are coming back in 10 years. So the United States is deporting people during their prime working years when they work in jobs that we need them, create jobs, create companies, create innovation. We're deporting them during this change period in their life and then bringing them back when they're older and they've contributed to somebody else's country. How does that make any sense whatsoever? It doesn't. That's why this isn't about immigration. This is about something deeper. It's about race. This is about nativism. This is about population control, the old people. These are all anti-population movements. They literally want America to be a third of its size. Do you know what we are for a third of our size? We're a second world country. That's what we are. And going down. But that's what people like Stephen Miller want. I'd like to know if there's any changes in VAWA cases. There's no changes in VAWA cases. None whatsoever. How are your parents applying for VAWA? I don't get that. I know there a lot of these TikTok lawyers were filing for VAWA through their kids because their kids were mean to them. A lot of those cases are getting denied. A lot of fraud going on. Hope that's not one of them. If someone has had removal deportation from early 2000, if they have no status and not married, they're currently at risk. Oh yeah, if ICE finds you, you're going to deport you, if you don't have DACA, right, or deferred action of some kind. They're just if they find you, there's 1.5 million people with deportation orders. And they're on the list. Those are the easiest ones for ICE to deport because they don't have to go to court. They can just deport them. Juan Herrera, con expedited removal. Ya contesté esto. So ICE raids in Denver now. Yeah, they said they were going to do Denver. And they got a military base. But what are the raids? 100 people? 50 people? Bad for those people. But in the grand scheme of things, in a city of several million people, it's not big. Again, these are designed to cause fear. They're designed to cause fear. For this reason, you keep your mouth shut, you demand a warrant, you don't give any papers, very much, and you ask for it. You exercise your constitutional rights. Wilson, ¿se puede viajar con advance parole? Yeah, you can, yeah. Váyanse, Wilson. Tenga un buen viaje. Ana Enrique Sánchez, mi esposo, tiene una cancelación de deportación de 10 años, además tiene más de un año, no más de permiso, pero hasta hoy no ha llegado. ¿Qué puede hacer pasar? Ana, él debe llevar su antiguo con él y su permiso. Y no va a detenerlo. So this guy's had a cancellation removal case pending for 10 years, yes? Because that's how long these cases take. But his current work permit's been pending a year. You know, what if it gets picked up? Bring your old card with you, keep your receipt, you're fine. You're going to be fine. I don't think they're going to detain you. 6-1 hardship, approval guarantee if you leave the country. No, baby. The only guarantees in life are death and taxes. Now, the approval rates exceed 90%. If a lawyer does the case. If you do it yourself, the approval rates are like 60%. So get a lawyer. And a lot of it depends on why you need the waiver. Es buen tiempo para poner una petición de hijo, ciudadano o madre. Si la madre es elegible arreglar. Is it a good time for a kid to sponsor their mom? Yeah, if the mom can fix herself. Pero si la mamá no puede arreglar, ¿por qué? The rapper you got me out of ICE detention during Trump is now a U.S. citizen, by the way. No, actually, he's not a U.S. citizen yet because he's only been a resident for 3 years, but he will be a citizen in a couple of years. Yes, 21 Savage got a lot of lawyers. Let's see. Tengo DUI del 17 de marzo 2024 sobre probado que tengo. Vas a estar bien. You're going to be okay. No vas a afectarte. Would you advise doing? No. Yeah, I would. If you've got DACA and you have not got your legal entry, do your damn advance parole. Please. I've been begging you for years to do it. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Special invitation? Come on. How fast are AUS for marriage taking to Georgia? Well, they say 25 months on their website. I think it's like 12 to 14. I'm not a big believer in the combo card if you've got an unlawful entry. I'm just not. But if you got to go, you got to go. Your choice. Thank you for your time. You're welcome, Estefania. And yes, he just said yes. He said yes. Can you share all contact information? Vanessa, we put that up here, and happy to do that. Let's see, we'll put the banner up here once again. This is how you reach us. Here's our phone number, 404-816-8611, and my email, ccook@immigration.net. And we do lots of Zoom consults all over the country. Our clients are everywhere, so you don't need to be in Georgia to have us represent you. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. Some with administrative closure under ISAP monitoring with TV's application. That's not sure they're worried. Well, the worst thing they can do is reopen proceedings, but then you're back in proceedings. So, yeah, I mean, you could be detained, Miguel. I mean, absolutely, you could be detained. Liz Wolf, do you think the way current ICE are going to last? No, I do not think they're going to last 4 years because I think Democrats are going to control the House again in 2026. Or I guess 2027 when they get sworn in. They may even get control of the Senate, but they're definitely going to get control of the House. I don't have any doubt about that. And a lot of this will come to a screeching halt because of the funding. We're just not going to fund this stuff. No asylums to be adjudicated within 6 months of receiving. Well, ICE by law, CIS by law is supposed to do that, but they don't. What's going on with Honduras right now? No, there's nothing going on with Honduras CBS. It's just sitting out there. I haven't heard anything at all. Rancher Coupon, I love that. Undocumented driver license, okay, travel domestic. Here's my piece of advice. If you are undocumented, stay out of the 100-mile Constitution-free zone. And that driver's license will not comply with Real ID after May. So I would say not to travel domestically. That's just me. I think it's the wisest choice. Or the people who have, well, so far 68 Guatemalans, but we don't know anything more about them at this point. Marian Guevara, I currently have DACA about to apply for AOS. What does that? No, it does not cancel the work permit for the DACA. You can have both. You can keep renewing your DACA and that work. You can have both work permits. So not a problem. Keep your DACA renewing. Milvia Carrillo Dujane, I applied for VAWA. I had overstayed a visa. I left 4 years and came back 1 month after illegally. Oh, you have a permanent bar. VAWA does not forgive the permanent bar. It does not forgive the permanent bar. You can get deferred action, but you can't get a green card until you live out of the country for 10 years. Sorry, that's maybe the lawyer didn't explain that to you. I just got my case was moved to a field office, but no update on the I-360. I-360s are all adjudicated at the Vermont Service Center. They have special people that adjudicate those. It can only be adjudicated there, and they're like 4 years behind. So there you go. Any update on the auxiliary waiver? How long is it taking right now? It's taking, I think, 39 months. So less than it used to before we sued them, but still taking a long time. Still safe advanced parole, yes. Even with deportation, I think I talked about this at the beginning. You know, if you haven't done your travel, then you do it. Everybody that I've talked to, they cannot go to Trump, has come back with deportation orders. And if they don't allow you in, you call me and I will sue and I will get you in. Liz Wolf, Liz, good to see you. I'm glad you're on today. Let's see, Maria Ugarte. Can someone do parole in place if married to an Army vet? Yeah, that's why parole in place exists. Maria, get married and call me and we'll help you out. We've done hundreds of these cases. If you're present during a mass shooting in a public place, does that qualify for your visa? That's a good question. Only if you're a technical witness or a victim. So it'll be very fact specific, Lucero. So you need to get the police report that involves you. Mi mamá está a punto de hacerse ciudadana. Ella me va a pedir que tengo DACA. Yo estoy casada. ¿Cuánto? Oh, no. Paula, eso va a tomar 20 años. Paula's got DACA and her mom's about to be a citizen and sponsor her. And she wants to know how long it would take. About 20 years. 25 if you're Mexican. Victor Martinez, hello, I have DACA. I will ask my partner to sponsor me. It's good, but Victor, the problem is Now, EB3s are taking about 3 to 4 years right now. And if this only worked if you got DACA before you were 18 and a half. If you got DACA after 18 and a half, you're going to need a wife or a parent who's a resident or citizen to sponsor you for a waiver. I did a whole thing on this on Dreamers Together. I just looked for me on Dreamers Together, and I did a whole presentation on that. Already asked about that. Pantry coupon. I went there to approve in November. I'm yet to file for another form. Where's the current administration? Yeah, file. If you have a legal entry, file. Pantry coupon. What are you waiting for? Come on. Híjole. Maite, afecte si ponen para una sospecha de nacimiento incorrecto. No te afecte. I mean, debe tener toda la información correcta. Joanna, once someone becomes a U.S. citizen, can they adjust status for both parents at the same time? Yeah. As long as you make enough money, it's not a problem. Right now, I tell people 12 to 14 months, more or less, about right. Well, that's impossible because we have answering people, not even in the company. So call, obviously people calling, leave a message if you don't get a message, but call and we'll help you. But you can also set an appointment on our website. You can go to immigration.net, immigracion.net. If you get la cita, you schedule an appointment right online, right there. And it's not just me. We have 8 lawyers here that you can make appointments with. They're all great. They all work for me. They'll be trained by me. They're all fantastic. Don't hesitate to do that, really. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. I skipped a couple. I want to make sure I get all the correct answers here. Okay. Buenas tardes. ¿Cuáles son las vacunas que piden? Hay una lista de vacunas en el sitio web. COVID no es requerido, pero los demás son requeridos. So every vaccine that a kid gets is required. Measles, mumps, rubella, diphtheria, tetanus, but COVID is no longer required vaccine. Legal entry through DACA, AP already, great. Get married to a U.S. citizen or have a kid who's 21 and get a green card. IVOS pending, would it be okay to visit Florida? Tanya, why do you want to visit the worst state in the United States? Go when you have a green card, really. Just go when you have a green card. Don't go now. Florida's got terrible laws. They target people that look like you. Why do you want to deal with it? Just wait. Just wait. Go to Six Flags in Atlanta. Hey, any issues with NATS process? No, NATS seems to be going along at the rate it was going under Biden. It's only been 2 weeks, but usually 6 to 10 months for citizenship. Mr. Cook, you had helped my firm with asylum. My case still pending for immigration. No court date. I have 5. Yeah, you're good. Abubakar, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Lucero, hey, if you're present during mass shooting, you already asked that question. Got removal order 95, never left. Got TPS El Salvador. Can I get parole? Yes, you can get parole. You can get reentry, and you can adjust status with a 212 waiver. What are you waiting for? Now, if you didn't go to your hearing, you have to reopen it first. So call us. We'll help you with that, but absolutely you can do it. Liz, I got my permanent residence to my husband. We are still married. When I apply for citizenship, is it 2.5 years? It's 2 years and 9 months. So actually, it's 3 years minus 90 days that you can file. How long does it take for a judge to approve my appeal for my removal deportation? Appeals take from 1 to 5 years. Just depends. How do I start the process of cancel removal if my wife gets arrested by us? You call us. You call us, and you get the documents ready, and we'll send you all the information. It's also on our website. You go to our website, immigration.net, look up cancellation removal. All the documents are there. ¿Puedo aplicar por mis hijos ciudadanos? Tengo más de 25 años. Sí. Sí. Pero si entraste indocumentado, no puedes arreglar. Entonces, ¿por qué hacerlo? You're getting deportation, and this lawyer needs to go with you all day. Dustin, thank you very much. You're just a kind man. I can just tell your heart is in this completely. Yashira, as you can tell, Dustin is a terrible human being. Yashira, any hopes for TPS Venezuela? I think there is hope. I talked about this at the beginning, so go back to that. But I think there is hope. There's some litigation that's coming on that. Last question. What else can I do? I've been waiting for 2 years for my rural. Well, actually, what you should do, Oscar, is call your congressman. Every congressman has a constituent services or senator that they can do an inquiry for you, and that does help push things along. All right, everybody. It has been great being with you all today. Oh, PM Pro has been in place. Next step, you file the green card application. If your kid's 21. DACA recipient leaving for AP, okay to get married as soon as you get back? No, you can get good. The 60, 90 days only applies to visitor visas, not to advanced parole. Texas Cowboy, I skipped your question. I find that hard to believe because I read every question that there is here. Perhaps you want to quickly redo your question because I'm scrolling up and I don't see any question here from Texas Cowboy. Anybody else see Texas Cowboy's question? I don't see it. Mercy, what's the percentage that they waive interview? Under Trump, no interviews are waived. So 0% starting now. My husband has rule of order in absentia, 212 approved. We sent a motion to reopen. You can't do a 212 for in absentia because the bar is still there. You need to get that reopened. If you get it reopened, then it'll be dismissed. I don't have any doubt about that. Make sure your I-130 is approved. Doing UAS, do I need to put speeding tickets? No, it doesn't require speeding tickets. Can a governor forgive the 10-year bar? No, nobody can forgive the 10-year bar, just immigration. You're welcome, Hody. Well, Texas Cowboy Hat 3, I never saw your question. I'm sorry I skipped it. I looked everywhere, and you didn't put it back up. All right, everybody. I'm going to be back next week. Next week is Spanish week, next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Until then, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can call. But better send me an email. I answer my emails right away. I'm pretty anal about that. And we're here to help people. We're here to make sure that you have information because information is power. Information on what decisions to make, what actions to take, how to move forward in your life. That's what we're here to do, to get you that correct information so you can make the best decisions. You guys have a great week. I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.